Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jake Kerr. This is a Black Ink podcast, and today I am joined by Courtnie and Mia of Piccolo Coffee Van and the recently opened Bahlu Coffee Bar. So, thank you for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having us.
Of course. It's exciting. You're officially the third podcast I've had with female guests.
Oh,
Yeah.
Course, females.
Bloody-o. I tell you what, this Bahlu Coffee Bar is exciting. Like, when I go in there, it's like obviously got that new cafe-like atmosphere to it. But just a few times I've been in there, there's been constant traffic in and out.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
Yeah,
It is cool.
It's pretty cool. Like from what like the caravan was
Yeah.
to now, it's like wow.
It's funny. I saw there's a new like red coffee van set up on the Bustle Highway. Have you heard about him?
No.
So I was set up on the side of the Bustle Highway in that pull-in lane next to the, what's it called? Next to the hospital. And I got moved on by the city of Bunbury. They're like, no, you can't hang out here. And because I was making coffee for no, it wasn't the city of Bunbury, it was Main Roads.
Yeah.
And because I was making coffee for them, they like came along and they said, look, Jake, like just do the righty. You got to fucking keep moving. Otherwise, we got to get the police to move you on. Otherwise, they would have just got the police to move me on. It's only because I made coffee for them. So it was a big deal at the time because I got signs made and stuff.
Yeah.
And Dad's like, have you seen this dude sitting in your spot? So it's a little bit shitty. I thought, it's actually not that great sitting there anyway. To be honest with you, the mobile coffee game is a lot harder than what people give it credit for.
Yeah.
Whether you're in a caravan or you're behind a vehicle, you're in the elements. You're dealing with like noise, you're dealing with power issues, you're dealing with all of these elements that sometimes are out of your control. So this like upgrade to like a air conditioned space with a cool room and music, it must be. Yeah, exactly. It must be lovely.
It is lovely. Something stationary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because we
think-
started in the winter, like it was dark at like 6 o'clock,
Yeah.
and we were getting up, going, and then like some days it would be raining, and we're like, well, day off today.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy because the shitty days are the days that people want more coffee.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, we did notice that.
Also, it's harder to do everything
Yeah.
when it's not nice, you know?
Yeah.
Well, it did get easier to do. We did we enjoyed the coffee van. We still do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think when you motivated to run your own business, you do just get up and you go.
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, of course.
And when it is raining or the weather is not great, like windy, you still want to go.
Yeah.
And then the days that you can't go, you feel sad. So
Yeah. But
like
you-
I definitely
Yeah.
have my days of feeling a bit.
I almost
crappy
feel
about
guilty.
it.
You
Yeah.
know, you meant to be
Yeah.
having a day off and you're like, I could be editing this or I could be doing that. It's like,
Yeah.
you also could just be chilling out.
Yeah. And I know there are 100 of like other coffee shops in town, but you
Yeah.
still want to see the same people come back and
Yeah, of course.
still have the same conversations and catch up. And so it is sad when you're not there and you don't get to see those people. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And also that like, I feel like there's two sides of it. The business side of me is like, I want the continuity of seeing that person every day. And the personal side of it is like, I know when I sold my coffee van, I was like, there's 100 people in this town that I just don't check up on
Yeah.
anymore. You know,
Yeah,
like
I
I just
know.
don't know what's going on in their
Yeah.
life. And,
Yeah.
you know, stories that just kind of cut halfway off and you're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like a moment in
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
It's not, not, I guess, appreciated as much when you realise you're not there to do it or see
Yeah.
that person.
Yeah.
How long's Piccolo been around?
A year.
So,
or just
no, we
2
actually
years?
brought the van the year after they opened.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
So it'd been running for 12 months in Bunbury at the Runners Club.
Right.
And then, when it sold to us, we opened it 3 days after the year they had,
Yeah, the first
something like
weekend,
that.
yeah.
So they started refurbishing it, and then it was up and running.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when we took over.
Yeah.
And they now work for you on occasion, is that correct?
Oh no, no. So the people that did used to own it, they've moved from
Right.
Bunbury.
Yeah.
But they had people working in it for them.
Yeah.
And yeah. So,
Oh, and they now work for you?
yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they're cool. So how, like, I remember you guys telling me ages ago Bahlu was in the works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how long has that been a plan? And how long have you been open now?
Honestly, it came up because we had some silly little faults
Right.
Yeah.
with the Piccolo van. Not the Piccolo van's fault. It was like
Our fault.
Yeah, just a few little silly things that happened.
Right.
And I said to Mia one day, I was like, you know what, why don't we just open a cafe?
Yeah.
And it kind of, in a week, it was a conversation that went, right, let's do it. So
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's super cool.
yeah, all the little challenges that we'd faced.
Yeah. I think it was
Pushed us
just
to make a
one
different
thing
decision.
after the other, and we're like, if we didn't have a van,
Yeah.
like, it would be so much easier having a shop. And then that whole week, we were just like, thinking, you know what, if we had a cafe, this would be so much easier.
Yeah.
And then
I don't think we ever just, like, we never thought sell the van because we love the van.
Yeah.
We love, like, how laid back it is and casual, and it brings something to Bunbury.
Yeah, and also, like, the main thing is it's bloody portable.
Yeah.
You know, you've got you got 2 spots you go to?
Yeah.
So you've got Runners Club and
the Whippies car park.
Right. So obviously, best case scenario is you have the van and the cafe. So have you managed to pull off both? That's pretty cool.
Well, because we never thought that we wouldn't work together. We were always either in the cafe or in the van.
Yep.
And I guess when you're best friends with your sister, it's hard to think of how you would separate to run both businesses.
Yeah.
But that was a bit of a crunch, so we did have to kind of like negotiate what we were going to do.
Yeah.
For now, we've got a couple of people that will help us run the Piccolo van.
Yeah.
But we have come to the decision to maybe one of us in the cafe, one of us in the van will alternate, and then also use like the other people that are helping us out.
Yeah.
So we'll all take it in turns. It's like
That's I think that's got heaps. Obviously, everything has pros and cons. I think that's got heaps of pros.
Yeah.
Like the one thing, I don't know if this is entirely true, but you know the farmers market is owned by 2 blokes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they have 2 and 2 rosters, so they rotate in and out. So they're never working together.
yeah,
That kind of means that you're constantly going to have fresh eyes if you guys are rotating through
true.
both positions.
Good point.
And like I know even my business, there's things that I overlook because I'm just in it every day.
Yeah.
You know, and like obvious things. So I think that rotation would be really healthy. And also, like the cool thing about the cafe is you got the apprenticeship in the caravan. You knew everything building that cafe. Like, right, what's important? What do we need to focus on first and get exactly right, and then work backwards from there.
Yeah, very grateful to be have started off in the Piccolo van for sure to get us this far ahead. So
how does I think the gap between having a normal job and having a normal, going through the normal steps that everyone goes through at our age.
Yeah.
What was the transition between there and owning a business?
Honestly, I think all the like challenges that we both faced individually throughout our lives leading up to this point in time. Because I've had a bunch of different jobs. Mia's been travelling, I've been travelling. And then this year there was always a conversation about one day having a cafe. Because it ties in with the family farm, the business. So this year it was kind of just, I was nearly done with uni. Mia was back from travelling and picked up some work in a cafe.
And it just kind of accidentally turned into you owning your own.
Well, I came home from work one day and I was like, Courtney, I can do this all myself. Like, we can do this. Like, I was like, I can make coffee. Like, all we need is like
something
to do
start
it, to
out.
actually just do it.
Yeah.
And then Courtney's like, oh, how about we get a cafe? And I was like, oh.
A big bite,
no.
hey.
Yeah.
And then I was like, how about we just start off with something small?
Yeah.
So we're Pinteresting all these like little caravans. I'm like, whoa, we'll do our own little caravan up.
Yeah.
And then Courtney's like, oh, I think the Piccolo van's for sale. And then
Wild.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa.
It's all about timing, hey?
And then she contacted the people and like when we went and had a look at it, and then we're like, oh, are we actually doing this?
Yeah.
And then we just kind of dove head first in and was like, let's just do it.
Yeah, I think that execution, that ability to just go, do you want to do this? Yes, so let's do it.
Yeah.
I think that is what you guys would know. How many people have told you they're good ideas?
Yeah.
And not followed through with it.
Yeah, I mean, even I'm gonna get this sleeve. I'm gonna do. It's like I'm gonna buy this cup. Everyone's talking about what they're gonna do. I feel like it's funny because once you've done it and you're in this position and you've made a leap, you start looking around. You're like, what else can I leap? Like what's actually on the cards
100%.
here? But it's that initial like taking that step and going like, fuck yeah, put your money on the line, put your time on the line, put your life on hold. Take on that responsibility of like that guilt when you're not at work.
Yeah.
But you've done it, and so far, I mean, it looks like from the outside that you're tracking reasonably well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we have like our days. We get tired, but we're working it out as we go, and
we knew it was going to be hard, but
we've sacrificed a lot. But I feel like it's almost not a sacrifice when you're so motivated and so focused on achieving something else that all this other background noise doesn't seem to affect you as much.
It's crazy, like I'm like the poorest I've ever been right now, but I have the most amount of satisfaction. Like there's something about like I'll be fucking poor, in debt, whatever you want to call it, behind the 8 ball if it means I'm in control. Rather than having money and having security. Because it's 100%. Like, man, what the fuck do you want to buy when you're busy working? When you're busy grinding,
Yeah, exactly.
So like I think that. And like I think that is the thing that stops people from taking the leap. Well, what happens if I can't afford coffee?
Yeah.
Fucking go without coffee, dude.
Yeah.
That's all it is, But
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like as supported as we have been, we're still like, we're starting out a business, and so we're not like, it's not, you know, we are still trying to, you know, crawl our way back up. But
Yeah,
it's
fucking
not,
oath.
yeah.
That's and I think that's one thing is like people assume that like, oh, you sell heaps of cups of coffee, you're making money.
Yeah, but no.
You got to sell fucking heaps of cups of coffee.
It's
heaps.
a heap. It's a lot. It's the, you know, what comes in also goes out just as fast, if not faster, because you need a restock. So I mean, we kind of knew running a business would be definitely challenging. And learning along the way, it's like kind of a shock to the system, but you know that you just got to keep going.
Yeah, of course.
And improvising as well.
You had a generator issue at one point, didn't you?
Oh yes. We had many generators.
I think they're obligatory with having a bloody coffee van. Like for me, it was like if something's going to go wrong, it's the bloody generator.
Yeah, we did. Yeah. So the generator that we got with the van, it just didn't have enough power. To run the things that we wanted to do. But it still got us through. It ran the coffee van and all the coffee machine, and it, you know, did everything it was meant to do. But until it backfired at an event one day, and we were like, oh no, and it completely conked out. So we had to go race down to Bunbury Machinery, grab a new generator or a higher one. And we took the other one off to get repaired and, you know, get all the complete service and everything of it.
But you run a triple group machine.
Oh, we do now.
That's nuts. That's so much power draw.
Well, we thought if we're gonna because our first weekend actually. Our first weekend of running the van, or having the van, we did the Bunbury Hockey Carnival, and it was 3 days, crazy.
Yeah, cold mornings, getting fucking slammed.
It did not stop from like 6 till until we closed the window, saying sorry, we can't. We need to go home. Come back tomorrow, so we're gonna close now. Yeah,
dude. Full 3-day event of like 6 till 4, just pumping out coffees.
Hockey, motocross, and there was another one. I remember them. They were the only events where you would get a line where everybody would spend over like $30. Because they get like, I'll get 2 hot chocolates, 2 coffees, I grab a muffin. Like every single person spent over $30. And obviously like great day financially, but at the same time you've like, do you get that like mental stack where like you've got so many orders piled on top of each other and people walking in and I know what that they have and then they change it a bit today or they get a large and by the end of the day you're like, I'm burnt. I'm just burnt. I can't.
Well, at first I was like, oh, I'll be alright on coffee by myself, but then like the sticky notes, because we were writing on sticky notes, they started piling up, so we had them along the coffee machine. Around the back, and then up, and then on the roof. And it was like probably like 30 coffee orders at once. And I was like, someone help me.
More than 30 coffee orders. Like some people ordered 2 or 3 coffees, so on one docket.
It stacks up.
Yeah, that's so true.
Many,
So then Kyle, my brother, he ended up coming in and doing some shots, and then he had to leave, and then Jordan came in and was doing shots, and then we had, at the end of it, by day 3, we had someone on milk, someone doing shots, and someone pouring.
Wow.
Mum was whipping up hot chocolate.
Mum and Dad in there as well. Our brother's girlfriends as well. Dad's like stocking up
and
the
then
water.
Running to Woolies and back, getting tiny teddies and...
Yeah, of course. The bloody milk run.
Those things that you probably like, tiny teddies at an event, you probably could have saved time there, but we did...
It was nice little, but marshmallows. Dad ended up getting like all these wafers and giving wafers out to everyone.
It's funny, like I find like at events for me, when I was doing it, like everything goes out the window. Like, you know, sometimes I want to say at the Bailing Up Medieval Festival, someone threw a stink up about the lids being plastic. So I just didn't put lids on anything. Didn't put lids on anything. I'm like, cool, go fucking spill it everywhere. And people are like, where are the lids? I'm like, apparently I'm not allowed to use them. You know? But I don't know. I was a dickhead was the problem as well. Like I made a lot of choices that were based off having an ego, you know, which you can't have in business.
No.
Would you say, like, what have you taken out of having a business so far? Like, what have you learned?
You know, I've actually... Can I go?
Yeah, go.
I feel like I've learnt more about myself. Like...
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Don't cry. Sorry.
No, I actually feel so much more comfortable talking to people and just, like, doing my own thing with my sister.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, what have you learnt?
Oh, a lot of things.
I'll go again.
Okay, go.
I think what makes this work is that we each have strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah.
We've grown to know each other through what we're good at and what we could improve on.
Yeah.
And I feel like she's stepped up so well.
Oh,
and
stop.
because I had a lot on this year.
Yeah.
And so the times where I was sitting back and like flustered or couldn't think, and Mia stepped up and stepped in and took over, and it was great.
Yeah.
So I've learnt a lot about myself and my sister and how we work together.
It's It's kind of like trial by fire, putting yourself in that situation. But if you come out and it's working, that's something you can make work forever. You know, because you've had to learn together. You've had to like fill in the gaps. So it's kind of, I don't know. I'm always kind of envious of like successful partnership stories in business, because I'm like, damn, I'd like someone to. It's not even like, you know, like yesterday I had a really big win and I was like, who can I call?
Yeah.
And it's like, you want to call,
you can call us,
mum or dad or something.
We'll cheer you on.
But that's the thing, like in business, like you are very isolated. There's not there's obviously your audience and your customers like are there for you and they vibe with you.
Yeah.
But it's like the stuff that you can't share with them, or the stuff they don't really understand.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like, fuck, all right, I'll call my mate, and you're trying to explain to him why it's cool, you know, and I talked to this person and they introduced me to this person. They're like, that's good, bro, that's good.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I guess that, ties back in, because when I haven't understood something, I've asked Mia to help explain it.
Yeah.
If she hasn't understood something, then I'll be like, oh no, I think it's like this.
Yeah.
So it works. Yeah. What's that saying about the partnerships? The best way to steer a partnership, or I don't know.
Or
something where sometimes they fall out or something like that. And I just I feel like good about it. I don't know this.
Yeah, I mean, we live and work together, so you'd think would be like...
Whoa, that's rough. That's rough.
But,
I thought at least at the end of the day you get a bit of bloody relief, but...
It's better because, like, we're always together.
I know, it's weird.
But
it's not.
But we're not, like, we don't clash at all. Like, we've probably only had, like, one or two.
Our arguments are, like, where we say, like, oh, fine, and don't speak for a few hours.
Yeah.
Like, and then, hey, do you want to go to the beach?
Yeah, like it's not even...
That's cool.
It's not... Yeah. We don't have any...
Sorry, I cut you off. What was your answer to what have you learned from business so far?
Oh, everything. Like, so much. The list is... with myself, just believing you can do it. Yeah. And just, like, Courtney's really been a big advocate for, like, just do it. Yeah. Okay. So, I've always been like la-di-da-di-da, but like actually getting in and doing it. Yep. And then just believe in yourself that you can do it, and see how far you can go if you just believe in yourself. That faith thing is like, it's crazy. Like the momentum you can get behind faith, and you get to a point where you're like I said before, you start making those leaps and you're like, what else can I do? Yeah. Like, and then like, well, every month I write down my goals that I'm trying to get. Goals, everyone's fucked up manifesting and goals and all the rest. But like, just like, what are we trying to achieve in the next month? And like, when I first started doing that, you like write something down. You'd be like, yeah, that's achievable. I think I can do that. Or almost I know I can do that. So I get to tick that at the end of the month. Yeah. Now I just write outlandish shit. Yeah. Because if you have 20 outlandish goals and you get 3 of them, that's better than none outlandish things happening. Yeah. You know? So now it's like, cool, I believe I can do whatever I want to do. Yeah. So it's like, what do you want to do then? Yeah. You know? Yeah. Well, at the start of the year, we actually went and seen a business advisor. Yeah. And we got talking. He's like, oh, like, it was 20 years. He's like, oh, you know, different. Cafe, you know, how long do you see yourself having a cafe? I'm like, oh, like 20 years. Yeah. And then we did it in 6 months, and it's like crazy. Yeah. Like, I think at the start of the year, when so the whole cafe thing ties into our story, because we started, back with the blueberry farm. Yep. We started having like a lot of waste with the seconds that just weren't good enough for Coles and Woolworths. Right. So 5 years ago, started packing up the seconds and just selling them online on Facebook at markets. People were happy with the seconds, knowing that they were maybe a little bit softer or not quite coloured up. Yeah. Last year, we couldn't quite keep up with the amount of waste that we had. Just to back up a second. Yep. So tell me more about the farm. So this is a blueberry farm? Yeah. In Boynup, right. And what size farm are we talking? Because obviously Coles and Woolies means you produce a fair amount. Yeah, there's a fair amount. I think established there's about 30 acres of blueberries. Wild. But there's more going in. Yeah. We can't keep up, but we'll plant more. So yeah, there's more going in. And yeah, it started about 10 years ago with the blueberries. Right. Just on a small scale, following
kind of the closing of table grapes. So we got into another avenue with the blueberries.
Right.
It's now a family-run business with our mum and dad and our brother out there, and obviously us. So 5 years ago, we were starting to like try and save the waste. So we're looking for people that make jams or smoothie makers, cafes. And people that were just happy to buy seconds and put in muffins. Yeah. And then jumping forward 5 years, we've now decided that we were talking at the start of the year of how can we save all this waste. So there was discussions 5 years ago about having a cafe one day. Yeah. So we brought that forward to 5 years now. We were talking to the business advisor at the start of the year, like, this is the general plan. It's about 20 years away. Yeah. He was like, no, it shouldn't be 20 years away. Yeah. And then, I guess that's how it all tied together. So then in June, I think, or just before June, before we brought the van, it kind of just all worked out. Yeah. Like, timing was everything. Yeah, because Mia was like...
I was, travelling around.
Yeah, and sick of her job. Knew that she could do the work herself. Yeah. And I was nearly done with uni, and so we just decided to get the van. And now, with the problems that we had with the van, we're like, let's just do the cafe. Let's
do it properly.
Let's go.
Yeah. Yep. So is the caravan going to last forever, do you think?
So I've thought about this. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to keep the van at the beach or something for the short term. Yeah. One day, maybe it's not so far away, but it might be. I'm not sure. 5 years or so. It would be nice to retire the van out at the farm because it's like a little story. Yeah. So you'd still have you'd have the coffee served at the farm, and people that visit the farm, they can grab a coffee, go pick some blueberries. I don't know. Yeah. It's all, who knows?
What about I used to hate it when other business owners would give me outlandish ideas that were just obviously were never going to happen, but a big like fucking blueberry that is a caravan on wheels.
So I think
smaller scale.
I think that was something Dad talked about, was painting it purple or
that would be
something.
Fucking hilarious.
Or sticking a blueberry on the top.
A big blueberry on a spring or something. Amazing. Because that's the thing, like, that's the gimmick that people, like, attach themselves to. Like, I always ran with the coffee van because I obviously had it, like, wrapped in matte black. Yeah. I was like, the young dude with tattoos and long hair who, like, came and spoke to you like a young person does, And that's what I sold. I sold as much character as I possibly could because then you don't even need to know the name. It's a black coffee van with a young guy. Yeah. Yeah. He's got a fucking terrible mouth on him. And it's like it's identifiable. So I see things as like, how can we like make, and especially when I'm marketing new products, it's like, how do I make this outlandish? Yeah. How do I make it that it doesn't even matter about the brand and the product? People just say, did you fucking see that? Yeah. Yeah. Because then they start going, oh, it's black ink. Oh, you're selling G-strings. Oh, So it's like, I see that like, cool, the caravan was great. Let's get a big fucking blueberry, little window in the side. Maybe even get you guys to wear an outfit, paint the face purple,
Literally.
I mean, it'd be probably easier to do that every day than like, what are we going to wear today?
Wear?
Oh, yeah,
all my shorts are dirty.
Yeah. That's how I know you guys are in the first year, because you get to a point where you just get like, I wear black jeans, black shirt, black shoes, that's it.
Yeah. That's pretty much where we're almost at, I think. Yeah.
At the start, you're like, oh, what am I going to wear? what person do I want to be today?
It wasn't too bad in winter when we had the van. Like, we'd just jump in tracky pants, and Mia was wearing a dressing gown at one stage.
So Hell yeah.
Oh, it was cold. Yeah. You'd try and open the van, your fingers were frozen.
Yeah. I must admit that, that whole elements thing, like, it just gets you. And, like, the problem is your feet are cold and your hands are burning. Yeah. Because you're doing milk and shit, Yeah. Silly. So those blueberries that you have for sale in cups, they're not seconds.
No.
They look like cartoons. They're that good. They're amazing.
Yeah, everything at the cafe is like the premium ones.
Yeah.
Which wasn't originally the plan. We were only going to sell the seconds from the cafe. Yeah. Just to like outsource second grade berries and save on the waste. However, we want to be able to keep the quality there so that people know that when they come and get berries from the cafe, that they're getting what they want. Yeah, and they're nice and like they're not. Some people want to eat fresh blueberries without like having a few soft ones in there. So we're still supporting local, mum and dad.
Yeah.
And we're still using the seconds. So the seconds are like in the cooking and in the preserves that we're getting
Yeah.
done. And so
I think if you had like a top shelf and a second shelf of blueberries, and if you made and like this is the thing, if I'm assuming you got a fair amount of seconds to get rid of.
Yep.
Right. So let's say, how much are your cups worth?
The small ones are $2.50.
So you sell a cup for $2.50, or you can sell the equivalent of 3 cups for like $1. So you're still going to get your turnover of your seconds going. You still have, because this is the thing. It's not about like what you're going to sell more of. It's about giving an option.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like I can have a cheap spend or an expensive spend. And this is the thing. Like most people coming to Bunbury, most people in Bunbury coming to your shop front, like with the way everything's presented, and from the clientele that I've seen, a lot of them want to be seen buying the expensive blueberries anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like you're still going to sell your premium product, and you're also going to have that market. They're going to go, oh, I can spend $1 and get like fucking half a kilo of blueberries. That's nuts.
That's good.
You know?
Yeah.
But I sell t-shirts. Don't listen to me. You know what I mean?
No, it's a good. We have a heap this year as well. So yeah. I think it's
So is Kyle full time at the farm?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wild.
Yeah.
He I used to box with him, as I've told you, like years and years ago.
Yeah.
We were like part of a little group that always used to get up to no good together. It's fun. Bloody fun. So does he have any involvement with the coffee and that?
We've all kind of been involved with it actually.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And setting up the cafe as well. We all helped out.
Yeah, bloody oath. I feel like with the mechanical side of things, I always had like absolutely no knowledge. I'm assuming that Kyle knows his way around an engine for some reason. Does he have a history in?
He's a sparky.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Just
But
his,
he's pretty,
his
like,
hobbies.
hands-on.
Like he was into cars. He probably has more of an idea than.
Yeah. I was just thinking like if I had a Kyle in my aperture, it would have been good because I was always like with the generator, it'd break down. I'm like,
Oh yeah.
how do you get the cover off this thing? You know, like what's going on?
Yeah. No, Kyle actually was on call for many of our generator issues.
Yeah.
Yes. So we took the van out. Generator wouldn't start one day. So I'm like, what's going on now? Yeah. Took it out to the farm, and it was a flick of a switch. The main switch for the generator was off, which we hadn't turned on. So it's a lot of silly things that have just disrupted the flow of business. Yeah. So. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I mean, don't think I haven't had the exact same thing. Taken it to the shop and they're like, the fuel's off.
Yeah.
You're like, cool, man.
Well, it makes for a good story.
Yeah, it makes it a good story. And you know what? Like anyone who's like got a bit of fibre about them has all those dumb stories.
Yeah.
Like I'm in a position now where I'm reasonably like clued on and know what's up. It's because I made all the fuck ups.
Yeah.
All of them. Like all of them. So you just get to a point where it's funny now. You'll be in situations where you'll be helping someone else out, and you're like, "Hey, dickhead, what about the first? What about this? You should have checked." You know?
Yeah. No, that's true.
What's to go with the location of Bahlu? So,
the location.
How did you choose that location?
Well, I knew that it was available, and I contacted the people that have it.
Yep.
And just kind of told them the story of how we're like kind of like struggling to keep the van out every day, dealing with the weather, all of that kind of stuff. Spoke about the conversation of what we'd had about maybe trying to open a cafe. Yep. And so it came about sort of like that.
Right.
So yeah, it's family, friends, and well, actually more acquaintances that have become really, really good friends.
Yeah.
So,
that's cool. That's cool.
And like inspiration,
Yeah,
like
literally.
a full cheer squad and
behind us, like, go, you can do it.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, we can do it.
Someone that believed in us and just said you can do it. So
It's
gave us
crazy.
the opportunity, and
when you get those, like when you find some people that believe in you, there's a lot of people that'll believe in you just because you're doing something. But when you get people who believe in you that have like a dog in the race, like they're in business for themselves, or they appreciate what is actually ahead of you and they believe in you, it's like, oh, that does go somewhere.
It does. Every time we had our doubts, we'd speak to them about it, and they would just make things that like
so much.
It's like the sun shining on a cloudy day. Like it's so enlightening. So yeah.
It's definitely not like you don't have the most amount of foot traffic in that location, but I think one thing that Paper Out taught me is like if you make a good product and you are like always consistent, you're always rocking up, people will come to you.
Yeah.
Like it's that simple. Like Paper Out's in the middle of a fucking co-op out in Halifax, and I still go there to get coffee.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I'm not going out that direction, I'll still go there. If you're having like a coffee date or something, it's like, fuck yeah, I'll go there because I know it's private. You can have a private conversation. They've got something of value there, so I'll go there.
Yeah.
So I think like you're in a position that it's still like, it's oddly like in town but out of town. And the foot traffic conversation is almost irrelevant now when you look at like Main Street on a Tuesday morning. It's not like it's hustling and bustling.
No.
You know?
It's a good location because there's schools in that area as well. So we looked at the part of my there's schools around the area. There's like some gyms and things like that. So it's in a residential area as well. It's convenient for those that want to catch up and have a coffee and sit in close by. Yeah. So
do you have any plans for that seated area in there, like of?
Sort of.
Yeah.
I don't know yet.
Yeah. Right.
Stuff in the air.
Yeah.
Just little bit of planning maybe, but we got to just cross
that bridge.
Yeah. It's definitely not the first thing you got to get right. So that's. But what I was saying this to Mum, we were in there the other day. Like, it's nice, but I want to see this in 12 months when you've got like the, just the bits and pieces of like, the traffic from the door to from the till, and like where you obviously stand if you're waiting for a takeaway, and like those two tables over there's always people sitting over there, sort of thing. So I'm excited to see what it kind of organically turns into in the next 12 months.
Yeah, I would like to see like simple sit down kind of eggs on toast kind of breakfast is something. I know that sounds really, but I'm not much of a chef, but I don't mind cooking.
Yeah,
pretty good at it.
I mean, I definitely nailed a few
salads.
Yeah. No, and actually just picking up recipes from, being traveling and stuff. So, no, it would be nice to do like a loaded toast, and you can, cater for the people that do want to sit down and enjoy coffee and maybe like, avocado on toast or something like that. So simple.
Would you develop a menu with a chef sort of thing?
I'm not sure. What do you reckon?
Well, the place is takeaway.
Yeah.
But we did want that dine-in option.
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice, but
yeah, and like 2/3 of your shop is sit down areas.
Yeah, it is, but
it was ideally that was to cater for the people that wanted to take away coffee but didn't want to have to leave straight away.
Yeah.
Just to sit and enjoy it. So
it's less of a fucking cafe. It's more like a hangout in there.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Hey, it's got that Summer Bay, that cafe in Summer Bay vibe.
Yeah.
These guys, come on, you grew up on Home and Away, right?
Yes.
I thought you were on Australian for a second.
No.
But they used to fucking hang out there and get milkshakes and shit.
Yeah.
That's the sort of vibe it has.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
It's all coming.
Yeah.
We're almost open for a month, so once we get through like all this bit, I'm looking forward to watching it evolve and grow and see where it takes us. And
I think everyone is. The cool thing about Bunbury is we weirdly like everyone. There's no like real tall poppy in Bunbury. Like everyone's. Well, I don't know if you've felt this. I feel like everyone is happy for you if you're doing something here. Unless you got like haters from school, which in any case like. Fuck them,
literally.
But unless you've got like haters from school, it's like everyone's like, oh, someone's doing something new. Let's go support them.
Yeah.
Let's go get coffee from them every day for a week.
Yeah.
Oh,
I feel that for sure.
I think Bunbury's really rewarding in that way. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I agree. No, I'm glad that was, but I'm not sure. We'll just see how, the next 6 months goes. We've got some goals to achieve. So, and I feel like we'll hopefully get there.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
My goals have recently included being able to afford my fuel when I fuel up. So
I know.
How crazy is that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But, so where have you travelled? Just within Australia?
A few years ago, I was in Europe.
Yeah.
I was working on like cruise ships and stuff.
Oh, hectic.
Yeah, and then I came home for a bit, and then I got the itch again. I was like, oh, where am I going to go this time? So I went to Queensland. And then was over there for a bit, and then came home due to family.
Right.
And then I was like, well, I think I'm going to stay home. So what am I going to do?
Man, it's funny that like, what would you call it? Like intensity of traveling.
Yeah.
When you come home and you go back to a normal job, you're like, oh, I can't do this.
Yeah, no.
I can't do this. And if you do manage to do it for a little bit, you just have that like, almost like bug inside of you, like I just need to move and do something, and business really does feel that.
Yeah, it does, 100%.
It's really, I think it's just keeping you occupied.
Yeah, if you stay at a job, you do get a little bit bored, and then to have this, you can be so creative and so like have like a more direction of what you could do.
Yeah,
it's purposeful.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I think also like if you don't get a lot of people, I find with business, if you look at businesses that have been around for like 20 years, they got to a certain point. And that creativity kind of just ceased to to like really express itself. Like they got to like, I don't know, maybe $100,000 profit a year, and they're like, right, I got a business that generates a good amount of money. I can support me, my family, you know, schooling, whatever it might be, and then it stops. I think one of the big struggles is like, well, I find this especially in the industry that I'm in, I kind of want to not stop being creative. I want to see like the thing that I built as the ability to like express myself creatively in all these different ways. And the job is to keep figuring out those new different ways, you know, and I think like this, obviously a cafe is a cafe, but this thing that you've got on the side, the blueberry thing, it's like, that's really exciting. What can we possibly do with that? So I think like, obviously, as you've said, you've probably got like 6 months, 12 months of like just choppy waters, figuring it out, building your processes, understanding what your business is, staff, you know, getting through summer, all this stuff. But once you get to that kind of like when everything settles down, you can probably start to go like, right, what can we do that's different? How can we really make this unique and identify through something that you've kind of got free? These blue, I mean, those seconds are like, my mind's just going off with these.
No, there's definitely ideas there for the blueberries, and we it's all for good reason. Good, good message.
What this cruise ship thing, I was obsessed with the idea of working on super yachts when I was younger. I already was covered in tattoos before I made that decision, so it was just not an option for me. I know there has to be at least one crazy story from working on a cruise ship.
Yeah, well, I was a spa therapist on there, so it's like, it was long hours and just like, you know, you would deal with some people. Yeah. And because I was over in England on like an English ship, it was, I mean,
not much of a party boat.
It wasn't much. I was like expecting to go on a party boat, have fun, and then I got put with the age range from like 50 to like 92.
Right.
And I was like,
so creepy and dying, hey?
Huh?
Creepy and dying.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Pretty much.
All right. I mean, that I'm sure there is a crazy story in there.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the one I was anticipating.
I can't even think of any crazy stories that you told me.
I literally can't. Like, it was literally all work, no play.
Yeah.
I think her early beach days were crazier.
Oh yeah.
Those ones, but were you on boats? You weren't.
Last year when I was over there, I was working on a yacht. But that was only for a few weeks.
Yeah.
And that was good, but that was literally all work, no play kind of thing. But
I think you normalize anything you do after a little while, like, you know, being at sea and like the amazing fact you're on this massive like miniature town that's floating.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But you're just doing your job.
Yeah. Yeah. The first like few weeks I was so seasick. I was like,
really?
Yeah.
I thought there was not much movement at all.
When we're crossing like the Baltic Sea, the waves were like, because we're on deck 5, the spa was, and the waves were like deck 6, deck 7.
Oh wow.
So it was huge. It was crazy.
So you're like going in and out of water.
Yeah, pretty much.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And how many decks is there on the whole ship?
There was 16.
Wow.
It was 16 decks.
Yeah.
And then the top deck was literally like all open. It was so nice. Like you literally like looking over and you're like, wow, I'm up so high right now.
Yeah. And you're on a ship on the water.
Yeah. It was cool.
It's crazy to think even those like sea container ships, like they carry thousands of sea containers, and a sea container is fucking massive when you're inside of it.
Yeah.
And you're like, how is there something that is big enough that can like not sink when it's carrying all this weight? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But what we went to the same school.
Yeah, we did. I'm pretty sure we did.
Yeah. And we figured this out. You're 92, so we're in the same year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fucking mind-boggling.
I know.
That's crazy.
It is.
I have no memory of like I maybe remember seeing you in a yearbook. That's like my recollection.
I know. I was kind of aloof when I was at school. Just
aloof.
Yeah, aloof. It's a weird word, hey?
Yeah.
Aloof.
It's fun though.
It's just, I was more of a social, than...
What, did you stay at BCC the whole way through?
No.
Wait, you went to uni. What did you go to uni for?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I went travelling and I broke my arm when I was away, and I've always liked the idea of the marine science area. Yeah. And I met a lady over there who's actually Vanessa Perrotta over in Sydney. Right. Who studies the whales over there, and so I got talking to her on Tofino, at Tofino on Vancouver Island. Right. And she kind of just gave me a boost saying like, no, you can still go to uni. And I was like, nah, traveling now, it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
That following winter over there, I broke my arm. So I came home. I broke it pretty bad.
Yeah.
So tore some nerves and only had the use of one arm for
hectic.
at least 12 months.
How'd you break your arm?
Snowboarding.
Naturally.
Yeah. So then I was like, well, what am I going to do? And I couldn't move to Perth and go study a marine biology degree.
Yeah.
So I looked at what was down here, and there was environmental science. So I was like, well, that's pretty close.
Yeah.
So I enrolled and I got in. Strangely enough.
What's a prerequisite to?
So you had to do like a bridging course, or you could do a test. So I went to Perth and sat a English writing test.
Yeah.
And got in, and that was it. So and then finished up this year.
Did you I have no idea how university works. How'd you pay for that?
The HEC step. So,
right. So wild.
Student help.
Does what you learn at uni help? I'm not saying this sarcastically.
No, it does,
Is there cross-reference of education there into owning a business?
Well, this last semester, yes, because I got 3 electives to finish the degree.
Yeah.
So I chose 3 units that would kind of correlate with what I'm doing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. But even still, if it didn't, I think everything I've learnt, I still am interested in. But as broad as it is, like, it's really hard to kind of niche your way into something in environmental science because there's so many avenues that you can take with it. But yeah, no, it's if anything, I feel like it's taught me a lot.
And it's a process of learning as well.
Yeah, knowledge isn't wasted. So
when you know how to learn, that goes back to the leaping thing. It's like you realize, like, oh, I can, like, go back 3 years. Yeah, 3 years ago, I was just like literally a truck driver. Like I knew how to drive trucks. I knew how to make coffee. I knew how to, drive a coffee van. But my skills are fairly limited. And now it's like Photoshop, Illustrator, printing stickers, creating clothes. And it's like literally because you just go, I'm going to go learn that now.
Yeah.
And once you understand the process of learning, you're like, okay, everyone is shit at everything before they start. I'm okay with that. I don't get anxious about not knowing. Yeah. And then like the first time you read something about something and it doesn't make sense, you're not meant to make any sense of it. It's the first time you read it. So like having that ability to learn and to like almost be vulnerable before you start something and then get better at it.
Yeah.
It's like that completely translates into business.
Yeah, it does. Especially like reading things.
Yeah.
That's helped.
Yeah.
And knowing like what's, a credible source to read from. So you're not just reading any.
Reading in general, though, I feel like our generation is fucked.
Yeah.
No one can read it. Everyone's like, oh, no, I can't read.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't read. It's not you can't read, it's you don't read.
It's actually hard to focus on what you have to read.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys read something and then you start thinking about what you did on the weekend.
Yeah. Again, like, I made this correlation yesterday with Brooke, who was on the podcast. Like, I hurt my shoulder the other day and I had 4 days off riding my push bike. I ride my push bike every day. And like, it's only to get better at wheelies. That's all I fucking care about is doing wheelies on my push bike, right? And I got on my bike after 4 days off and I've like pulled up the front wheel. I'm like, whoa, cowboy.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not, like, what happened? I'm like, I had 4 days off.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you haven't read a book since year 9 and you're 25, you're going to be shit at it. You're not going to be able to retain information. You're not going to be able to read a whole page and know it. Like, that's a fucking skill.
Yep.
Reading isn't just like this like pre-programmed thing that we've got. And I found like I almost get annoyed when people go, oh no, I can't read, and that's their excuse to just not try.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I know, dude. Today, read 1 page.
Yeah.
Like, that's where you're at in your learning of reading at the moment. Read 1 page, and then later on, think about what you read. And tomorrow, read 2 pages, and then think about what you read. And it's like, the crazy part about that is, it's so rudimentary, people won't do it. But when you do that, again, you realize like, oh, on day 1, I was only meant to read 1 page because that's where I was. The first day I tried doing wheelies, I couldn't do wheelies.
Yeah.
I had to start with the looking like a idiot 29-year-old trying to do wheelies on a push bike. So it's like, that reading thing is, man, if you get a book about something that you're passionate about or interested in or can help your business, and then you read it and then you apply it and then your business does better, it's like, that's the craziest thing in the world. So exciting,
It's kind of the same approach with like starting out, just figuring it out as you go, and then don't try and do it all in one day. It's not gonna work.
100%.
So that's where we're at.
So what's your, like you were saying before, it was like a 20-year plan to have a cafe. What's like, Do you see the cafe as an ongoing thing, or do you think there's a thing above that 5 years or maybe 10 years from now?
Definitely above.
Yeah.
We want to be able to keep it all in the family and on the farm and together. And so. It's like while me and Mia are the ones running Bahlu and Piccolo, it's everyone that's involved. So in the sense that it's like support by just cheering us on or calling someone up to give us a hand. It's so while you might not see those people, they're still part of it. So bringing it out to the farm and having something set up there one day would be
amazing.
Yeah, super cool. Super cool. I think also the fact that you're building it around family.
Oh yeah,
that's so good.
Yeah,
that's so good. Like that's the purpose of Black Ink, is to create enough time and money so I can have a family.
Yeah,
you know, it's like when it's about something that's so authentic as that, it's easy to get good at it. It's easy to put that over other things and go, I need to make that work. You know, when it's just like, one day I want to own a Ferrari.
Yeah,
it's like, fuck a Ferrari, dude.
Yeah,
you know, like it'd be really cool. Like I don't know, the older I get, the more importance I find with family, and like it's so easy. You rebel in your teens and your 20s. You go, I don't want to fucking do things with my family.
Yeah, that's true.
They're the only ones who care.
You're too cool for it. But now, like, you know, time's precious and you want to make the most. And make me tear up.
And then you do well in business, and now you want to live long enough to see it prosper.
Yeah,
that's the thing that I'm facing at the moment. It's like, now I've got something I'm proud of. It's like, I stopped doing dumb shit on my motorbike because I don't want to die.
You
know, I want to see this do things.
It's
you know,
fear, hey, like you get scared of things. Like that. I get that for sure.
And then you hear parents saying that when they have kids, like, the whole life changes. Yeah, we'll try building a business. Or
but I guess it's kind of like our baby. So
100%. Yeah. This is my baby. This is 100% my baby.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, bloody oath. Well, is there anything you'd like to ask me?
Yeah.
Do you have any questions booked or?
Did you go to year 12?
No.
None either.
I went to Bunbury High. I went to Newton Moore for the rest of year 10 because I got kicked out.
Yeah, because the image that I have of you from school in BCC is like, we're super young, but I can't remember you past that.
Yeah. So I got kicked out halfway through year 10 for
rebel.
Just, I don't know. I don't even know. There was no one thing. It was just like, Mum got told that, who was our year coordinator?
Which year? Did we have a bunch of different ones?
Yeah. So in year 10... Oh no, I think Mr. Bryce. I just had a shit homeroom teacher, and I think he was the one who recommended that, like, we do something about this, and Jake, we recommended that he leave school. It wasn't getting expelled, it was recommended that find another school. So I went to Newton Moore. I got beat up a couple of times and then went to Bunbury High for year 11. But
How was Bunbury High?
Bunbury High was sick.
Yeah.
It's like,
I've heard a lot of good things about Bunbury High.
It's a beautiful school on the beach.
I know.
You know?
Yeah, best view.
Yeah. And like we used to, because like Bunbury High is like a U shape. Yeah. And like both of those kind of like, you know, ends are pointing towards like west. So that kind of corridor at the back, we used to sit at the top level. That was like where we sat at recess and lunch. The view's nuts. Like you're just literally looking at this big, beautiful brick school and the ocean.
Yeah.
When you come from like BCC, where you're not allowed to have your ears pierced and you have to, you know, tuck your shirt in. Like, what are we talking about? And you go to this school and they like, actually Newton Moore was the same. Newton Moore, we call the teachers by their first name.
Yeah.
And there's something about like, I don't know, like I've always had a problem with authority. Like it's like I'll respect you if you're the man, but until we know you're the man, like you're just one of us.
Yeah.
And there's something about calling teachers by their first name. Maybe some of them we call by their surname, but there was something humanizing about them. And I was like, I fuck with that.
Yeah.
Like I really do. Like this person is just like, hey, I'm just like an older version of you. I know a little bit more. That's all we're doing.
Yeah, that's
but like.
So good.
This like Mr. Bryce shit.
Yeah.
You know, like...
That's a good way of actually thinking about it too.
Well, I mean, I don't think... I'm one of those kids that schooling system wasn't really made for. Like, I 100% get that. But the schooling, like, I did heaps better in schooling when I had that relationship with the teachers.
Yeah.
So, as far as, like, you know, you go there and, like... Not that I saw physically drugs ever at school. I feel like the presence of drugs was more prevalent at BCC. Like,
I'm not sure. I've never really... never really.
I was never really hanging around shitheads either, and I was hanging around shitheads in Newton Moore, and like I saw fucking nothing.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that stuff's so much more out there today than. But I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a friend who her kid was vaping and she's in year 8.
Oh, yeah. So that's scary.
Yeah,
hey?
That's nuts.
Scary. Yeah.
Exposure to nicotine in year 8.
Yeah.
Whoa. That's rough. Just because I know like how hard it is to quit nicotine.
Yeah.
It's like, well, they say if you start smoking before 16, like if you get addicted before 16, you're likely to never be able to kick the addiction.
Yeah.
But if you start smoking after 16, because all of your whatever, I don't know whether it's dopamine receptors or whatever it is, because they're set to a certain limit, it's easy to reset back to that because you've already built that like foundation of this is how happy I can get, this is how sad I can get. But if you fuck with that by jacking it and dropping it with nicotine all the time before you're like that age, then your body has no real like calibration as to like where it starts and ends. So then when you stop smoking, you're having these crazy lows or these crazy highs and you can't regulate it with nicotine, which is what your body's relied on, then you're like, fuck, I'll just go back to what I know, which is nicotine.
Yeah, I don't know. Not sure. I don't know enough about it, but yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've learned it intimately because that's what you do when you're fucking addicted to cigarettes, you know?
Yeah, right.
But
no, it's fucking vapes. Anyway.
You guys don't pump vapes, do you?
Nope.
Only when I'm drinking on the weekends.
Only when I'm drinking on the weekends.
Yeah, there it is. Fucking oath.
No.
They're too good though. They taste too good, you know what I mean? Like that shouldn't be something that's bad for you if it tastes that good, you know?
Well, it's just like, you don't need it, but
every now and then.
One puff
Why
is
not?
alright.
Yeah.
So.
Oh,
Like,
can I have another go?
Yeah.
I'm going to go buy mine. I'll be right back. Worst.
But yeah.
Rightio then. Well, shall we sign it off there?
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, and if people
Appreciate
people want to find you physically, where can they find Piccolo Coffee Van?
Closed Monday, Tuesdays. Weather dependent Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Wednesdays to Fridays at the Runners Club.
Yep.
6:30 till 10.
Yep.
Or 10:30. And Whippies on the weekends unless we're at an event. So
Sweet.
7 to 11.
And Bahlu Coffee Bar is
62A Beach Road,
Hell
South Bunbury.
which is the furthest left-hand side shop front
Yeah.
in that bank of like the fish and chip shop, isn't there? Is it?
Down the road from the Hungry Hollow.
Yeah. There's the one.
So come see us for coffee, then go there for lunch.
Yeah, right. Is the fish and chip shop still open?
Yeah, it reopened again.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, sweet. And if they want to find you online,
Yeah.
it's just Instagram and Facebook.
Yep, Bahlu Coffee Bar.
And Piccolo.
Coffee Caravan.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. And make sure you follow all of my stuff. Like and subscribe. Buy some of my shit off my website. And be good to your mum because we're fucking out.